Are you taping, baby? Baby, are you taping? Oh, yeah. Hey, 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 hey. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Baby, baby, come on. Baby, come on.
What's up? What's up? What's up? I had to do it, man. It's my birthday. I don't care. I don't give a damn what y'all feel about me today. What's going on? It is Mac and Free, but our names are not important. I am Mac, and he is Free. Free, what's going on, good brother?
What's going on, man? Happy birthday, man. You getting older, and I heard it in that attempt to impersonate the Martin Payne of What's Up Radio.
Now, your birthday was recently as well. We on that Jackie Robinson. You know how
We got our Jackie Robinson on.
it's all great.
That's all gravy, man. Man, but I'm ready, man. I'm ready. A lot of good things to talk about.
It's definitely all gravy. But let's jump into it because of your difficulties. So let me I had to switch it up a little bit for everybody. So let's get into it, man. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We're gonna try to keep from being like super deep because we kind of been on that here lately. But we're gonna talk a little bit about Nick Cannon, and I'm gonna start there, Free, because Nick Cannon made a couple of comments when he on his show where he had Professor Griff, and in that conversation, what Nick Cannon said was he said some things that were anti-Semitic, and he used a term where I quote, he said they were evil savages of people. But when you go back and you listen to the actual interview itself, you could see where Nick Cannon is kind of the context of it. You could see how it could be taken out of context both ways. One, it was like, okay, he probably didn't, when you hear his tone and the way he was being descriptive, he didn't mean it the way that people took it. But at the same time, you have to be able to understand that I do understand why people took it the way they took it. And it wasn't an attack. I listened to what he said, and I see how that could be taken the wrong way. Since then, Nick Cannon has apologized, and Black Twitter is after Nick Cannon at this point. Because now people are saying that he should not apologize, and Nick Cannon isn't for, and I quote, the cause. Unquote. So I have to ask this question, everybody, because this is a conversation we need to have for certain. Is it fair to place all of the burden on our celebrities? Because again, in my opinion, Free, I felt like Nick Cannon said something. He may have been a little more emboldened in the position that he was trying to take, and he said it with a sense of authority that he may not have had in reality in that moment. And as a result, Nick Cannon was able to speak to someone that was of opposition of his beliefs. He realized of how incendiary his comments could have been taken, and he apologized and atoned for it, because the last I checked, he's not dependent on a paycheck, because Nick Cannon's kids are going to be fine. So with that being said, Free, does our community, the black community, put way too much pressure on black celebrities to hold it down for all of us?
I think we do, which is unfortunate. I think the reasons why we do are understandable, so to speak, but it's still a misfortune because a lot of times you will be let down because, a lot of times their fight is not your fight or anything. They might be fighting different things within their industry more so than the whole landscape. And they may not choose to take that political route. But I think what we saw with Nick is just, anytime you try to generalize people and give them a wholesale titles and stuff is just wrong. And I think he did realize that. I think in the moment, like you said, he got emboldened, Mac, and went there, and the emotion took over, which, it's tough. Now, whether or not he's hurting, it's still his brand that is at stake, Viacom
Oh,
fired.
yeah, for
And
sure.
now he's fighting to get his brand with Wild 'N Out. So, I mean, I'm not counting his pockets. I know he was successful and did many things. So I know he, may be stable from that standpoint. But, looking his future, because Nick's a young guy, 38. How does this play out for his future? And we just hope, he'll make smarter decisions going forward. But I'm gonna
Yeah.
toss it back to you and then come back so we can get a little more into why the blacks, on the heels of his apology, basically started tripping and saying the cause, because before this incident, y'all wasn't hitting him up and knocking down his door to do this cause and push that. Did
Mm-mm.
you do your research on the stuff he's already done and
Come
been
on.
before we make this comment? So I just think, we fall back into that landscape. But I'm going to say this, and in my commentary, is just that the reason why we do it, I think, is because we equivalate money and success with being in the mainstream of everything,
Yeah.
political, the political paradigm, everything, because you have the money to do it. Because we equivalate those who have money to be in power, driving the moves of stuff. So I think we're like, well, you got the money to do it, you should be doing that. And then we just catapult them to the front of battles when we're not even getting our home in order to be ready when when we push these folks. So that's my take on that.
Yeah. So, and just for people who are thinking about this, Nick Cannon is currently worth $30 million, and he was being paid $70,000 per episode for America's Got Talent. So again, I fall back on, I'm pretty sure his apology had very little to do with money. Nick Cannon's going to be fine. But in that, Nick Cannon also was solid before this. This didn't have to happen. He didn't have to make comments that people, whether you agree or disagree with them, he didn't need to make those comments to prove what he's done in terms of his philanthropy and what he's done for black people. Nick's done enough to be able to get the slide on this one, so to speak. But I thought it was interesting about how people were this willing to go at Nick because because he apologized. And it's like, when do we stop taking people at their word? Like, it was one thing to start saying that a group of black celebrities, and I found this interesting because for a while people thought black celebrities, and particularly black celebrities, were the ones who were a part of the Illuminati. Like, I remember hearing anybody name to me any white celebrities that were part of the Illuminati. And I'm not talking to white people, because white people didn't do this. This was black people. So I want to make sure that I'm clear on who I need the distinction from. Because again, anytime anybody was able to get ahead and make some money and then they didn't do anything that you agreed with, they tend to be a part of the Illuminati. And again, $30 million. If you don't know what that means, it's more than $30 an hour. So Nick Cannon's going to be fine by all means. Why is it not plausible in our community in particular, Free, where people can say maybe Nick is telling the truth? And what I mean by that is this: maybe it's very plausible that Nick Cannon talked to somebody of the Jewish faith, was educated on how his comments could be deemed incendiary, brought enlightenment to that brother, and he steps back out there and goes, you know what, I realize, even though it wasn't my intent, I realize how it could have been taken that way now that I've had an opportunity to talk to somebody, and I'm sorry. I want to list a public apology. Because again, he's not going to get back on America's Got Talent because of the apology. Like, that was already done before he apologized. He wasn't going to get back on Viacom's Wild and Out because that was already done before he apologized. So they're not going to walk that back for Nick, first and foremost. So will he be back on TV again? Sure. I mean, Kobe Bryant lost his Nike deal, his Adidas deal, to then be picked up by Nike. Absolutely. But why is that, Free? Like, why is it that people just can't believe that maybe he believes he made a mistake and decided to apologize for no other reason other than that?
Well, that's because, once again, we equate money and celebrity to them being different individuals. Like, I guess individuals that don't make mistakes, or individuals that can stand by their word because they have money. But I mean, if you're human, you understand that people make mistakes and they have the right to apologize. And like you said, he talked to someone and was enlightened. So we have to give that to Nick. That is his human right. Now, the fact that it's probably something you didn't want to see because you're fighting a certain battle, or, let's be honest, you're not the one that said it. Now, if you were the one that came out there and said it and caught backlash and stuff from it, you probably would do the same thing. Once you come down off the emotional roller coaster and the high of the emotion and really understand what you've done and the hurt you've caused, they would probably do it too. But in the heat of emotion and stuff, it's very easy to point fingers at people. But I think going forward, Nick, should just play it low for a while, let this blow over, and then just pop up, do something. He's already been active in charity work.
Absolutely.
And causes. He supports over 10 charities.
And we have a tendency to not know what fight to champion. Like, this isn't the fight to champion right now. Like, and I think more importantly to say that, Nick understands that. I think that's why I feel so comfortable in saying it, because it's obvious that Nick Cannon understands that what he said and did can't be a part of championing. You can't champion that for the black cause right now. He gets that. And hence came the apology. I think he understood that, which is part of the reason why I believe he apologized. Because he realized, if you go back and listen to it, you'll wonder to yourself, why is this an issue? But if you go back and listen to it again, you'll figure that part out. Because when you hear what he says, it's no more racist than what Drew Brees said. And this is very similar to what happened with Drew Brees, because Drew Brees said something, people took it the wrong way, and what Drew Brees said is way less racist than what Nick Cannon said, for example. Yeah. But Drew Brees also he had conversations, became enlightened, and realized there were other works for him to do. Nick Cannon did the exact same thing. But now that same community of people, we have to understand when to be fair, because the same community of people are now saying Nick Cannon is a sellout because he apologized, and also got on the black players of the New Orleans Saints for re-embracing Drew Brees once he apologized. It's like, hey, we can't always throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Let me say this.
Go ahead.
Tell them folks, which this might not apply right now because of COVID, but tell them folks to go to their job and say the same thing.
Yeah.
To the people, and see if they go still be able to work there or do stuff, and then see how they feel about that, and whether they would apologize and try to work it out.
Absolutely.
Hey, ain't no fun.
Hey, we're going to take a break real quick, Free. Hold on, Free. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back, Mac and Free.
Now, folks, in the ice now.